Welcome to Podcast West Seattle. My name is Andrew. The sounds you're hearing are coming from Barrett Staples, who performed at the Skylark's open mic last year. The Skylark hosts Seattle's best open mic night each Tuesday night. Who am I to argue? This is Podcast West Seattle, focusing on arts, culture, history, and current events on the Duwamish Peninsula. This week we take a trip to Fauntleroy, checking out a new grocery and sandwich shop, taking a ride on the Fauntleroy Ferry. We'll also take a glance at the calendar to see what highlights are coming up in the neighborhood. This is Podcast West Seattle. First up, we'll be checking out different restaurants around the peninsula that interest me. This episode I headed out to check out a newly opened restaurant on the south end of West Seattle. One of my favorite new West Seattle restaurants lies in Endaline, just east up the hill from the Fauntleroy Ferry Terminal.
It's all about the space, yeah.
I talked to co-owner Lanhina Verdugo about how the restaurant came to be.
I mean, we've been talking about it for like 5 years. I've also owned a yoga studio before, which I have no experience doing. I've worked in the restaurant industry a little bit as a server, but it all goes back to my mom and dad. They've always owned businesses. There's always been no fear. I know it takes hard work. I know it takes being there every day.
Wildwood Market has proven to be a great fit in the neighborhood, providing not just food that people want, but a destination as well.
Probably one of my favorite things that I didn't expect is all the kids who walk here and ride their bikes here. It's like the little corner store in your neighborhood that parents are feeling safe. I've had a few parents that have called to make sure their kids get here. I've had parents that came and assessed the situation and, let us know that they're going to be letting their kids come here as a sense of independence, but they wanted to know exactly what was going to be happening.
The location is certainly nice, but you just don't make it as a restaurant unless the food is good. I asked Lanhina what her favorite menu item is.
Risotto, eggplant on a seeded baguette, arugula, Kalamata olives, roasted red peppers.
I really like the roast beef.
That's Chris, the kitchen manager.
With tomatoes and arugula. Yeah, I think the roast beef is probably my favorite. Or a burger, just down and dirty burger.
Wildwood Market has only been open 7 months, but the team's already looking ahead.
We've talked about espresso. We'd love to be doing breakfast if we're going to be open that early. We might as well be doing something else.
Right.
Yeah, bigger than that, obviously, than another location. To this day, we're still looking at other neighborhoods every time we drive by. I'm like, oh, there's nothing else around here. It would have to be just another little neighborhood store. Maybe one day.
That's Wildwood Market, located at 9214 45th Avenue Southwest. That's at the corner of Wildwood and 45th, just across from Endaline Joe's. You can find them online at wildwoodwestseattle.com. If you find yourself over by the ferry terminal and you're hungry, check it out. I recommend the Industrial. Speaking of the Fauntleroy Ferry, it's time to check in with how things are going on the boat. Did you know that Washington State boasts one of the largest ferry systems in the entire world? And 2 of the most scenic routes depart from right here in West Seattle at the Fauntleroy Ferry Terminal. It's time for Fauntleroy Fairy Tales. This week, I rode the ferry Chelan, which departed from West Seattle's Fauntleroy Terminal at 4:35 p.m. on Friday. I asked passengers 4 questions. How often do you ride the ferry?
Daily.
Every Friday. Babysit my grandson.
6 days a week. No, usually 5 days.
Every day.
Every day?
Every day. Week. 5, yeah.
5 days a week.
Friday, yeah.
Occasionally 4. What is your favorite aspect of riding the ferry?
Not being stuck on the I-5.
It's a short commute. I don't have to drive around. I live in Olalla.
It gets me home, that's it.
In the morning, when you're on the ferry, especially in the summer, we've talked about this, and you look out and you can see the Olympics, you can see the Cascades, you can see Mount Rainier like a pink cone, and you were on a glass lake going across. How many people in the United States get to commute to work that way?
Yeah.
If you could change one thing about the ferry, what would it be?
Schedule. I think I use it for work, so when it's not consistent, it kind of messes up more time I could be at work or vice versa.
No, I haven't had any problem. Yeah.
Build 2 docks. So one goes to Vashon, one goes to Southworth. It wouldn't even take that much real estate. They could just kind of come right in, build another dock right there, and then each boat, because when the Vashon boats late, it makes Southworth boat late because they're waiting for each other. So 2 docks.
More direct routes to Southworth.
Yeah.
Because we don't care about Vashon.
Yeah, we are not King County.
Just like Vashon doesn't care
We're
about us.
definitely not King County.
A foot ferry downtown would be great, obviously.
Have you had any memorable trips on the ferry?
No, just the winds last Monday. There's waves crashing over cars and stuff when it was hitting the ferry, and you had to hold on to your motorcycle the whole trip so they didn't fall over.
Oh, not really, because I'm taking like the 920. So, yeah, it's pretty laid back. Everybody behaves.
Coming on the late night boats on Fridays and seeing all the crazies coming back on the last ferry is interesting.
Be on the boat when the Seahawk fans are coming back.
Yeah, that's always good too.
That's a good idea. That's Fauntleroy Fairy Tales. Ride the ferry. And now for a quick look at the calendar. As always, there's a whole lot going on out there, but here are a couple of highlights for West Seattle. On Monday, January 8th, there's a ukulele jam and sing-along at the Senior Center of West Seattle from 1 o'clock to 2:30. Arts West will be holding a first look inside their new production, Peerless. The event takes place at their Playhouse at the Gallery and Junction from 5:30 to 9. The Westwood Rocks Hill Arbor Heights Community Coalition, or RA, is meeting on January 9th. I spoke with Kim Barnes about what the coalition does.
It is essentially a neighborhood group that meets the first Tuesday of every month to discuss lots of projects that we're up to as a community, such as improving Rocks Hill Park and the wetlands there, ensuring that there are safe pathways from the Westwood Shopping Center up to Chief Sealth High School, organize community cleanups, mass transit issues, and other projects that community members bring to us.
There's a Metro open house for the Rapid Ride H-Line planning at the Burien Community Center on January 10th from 5 to 8. Also on the 10th, poetry and storytelling at C&P Coffee Company from 7 to 9, Poetry Bridge, always nice to check out. The Delridge Natural Area Cleanup Work Party is happening on Saturday, January 13th. Get out there and help clean up your public spaces. Be sure to check out for cleanup times in your micro-neighborhood green spaces and parks as well. That's all for this episode of Podcast West Seattle. In the next episode, we check in on another restaurant, begin our look at the 7 man-made wonders of West Seattle, and take a closer look at some events around the neighborhood. Until then, let's go out on some more Barrett Staples.
Want a little bit of me no more. Wanna grab what I get a visa for. No, I